I bet a lot of business owners still don't see themselves as leaders. They've created a job they know they can do. They can see why people need them, but that doesn't make them a leader. So here's why I think solopreneurs are some of the strongest leaders out there, and what leaders everywhere can learn from them. The success is in being able to keep your business going long after those initial opportunities have run out. Overnight successes are a myth. The chances are they took years to get there. You have influence, which can reach people you didn't even know were watching. Shaping culture might not seem like an obvious trait of solopreneurs, but it is there all the time. They have a deep drive to build something impactful. Every decision, every message, every moment, it's leadership in motion. Hey, welcome to the Leaders Podcast with me, Laura McDonald, the leadership coach and mentor. Come with me as I explore the elements of leadership that give leaders like you the power and confidence to make the impact you know you can. I'll be sharing my own experiences, top tips and insights, and talking to some very special guests to share their thoughts and leadership experiences on mindset, influence, change, and growth. So let's get right to it. I've now been a business owner for 5 years, and it's been a hell of a ride. No matter how much you know about your job and running a business in the corporate world, stepping into solopreneurship will undoubtedly challenge you and push your capabilities way further than you ever thought possible. But you know, the factor that shocked me the most was the way leadership changes when you're a team of one. So many thought leaders and other professionals out there, rightfully so, are trying to reinforce the message that leadership is not a job title, nor is it a position in a hierarchy. It's a responsibility, a mindset, an absolute passion for people, and an enthusiasm to create better for all that can be done anywhere, by anyone with the desire to do it. Nothing reinforces that message quite like solopreneurs. Let me give you some insight if you've never been here. If you have been here, tell me if any of this sounds familiar. In terms of more traditional ideas of leadership, solopreneurs have zero perceived power or control over anyone, and yet have the potential for greater influence than they would ever have in a hierarchy, because that perceived power is not there. You've gone from people listening to you because of your position to getting people to trust that you are a voice worth listening to without a position for them to judge you on. The challenge then becomes getting your foot in the door for people to listen in the first place. You also experience a huge upheaval when you realise you're now held completely accountable by yourself and yourself alone. Your diary, your productivity, working towards your vision and achieving your goals is now entirely down to you. And no one can make you do anything, which for the rebels in us can sound like an elated cry of freedom. But for the rational and realistic side of us all, we have to earn. We have to follow through for our clients. We have to show up every day to stand a chance of succeeding. If you didn't know leadership could feel lonely before, you're going to now. And if you didn't know you're not alone in that feeling, you will now. It's a rollercoaster like no other, with the steepest and fastest learning curve you've ever seen. You'll grow immensely, and at least in the beginning, you'll wonder every day why the hell you made this crazy choice and how did you do this amazing thing all at the same time. How far you go depends on you, and you'll be making exciting and terrifying choices more often than you realise. But I bet a lot of business owners still don't see themselves as leaders. They've created a job they know they can do. They can see why people need them. But that doesn't make them a leader. They're just a freelancer trying to make a living, right? I've seen this play out in lots of ways, and I've had to step up to resolve a few irritations that are just the accepted norm for others. For instance, a common occurrence is late payments from other companies, and that's happened a few times to me, and it's considered normal amongst some other business owners, but I don't accept it. I don't have control over other companies, but I do have control over mine. I am the leader of my company, so if I want paying on time, I need to lead the conversation on late payments the first time it happens. My wages come out of that payment, and that wage pays my bill, so it's not optional, just like it wouldn't be optional for the person paying that invoice. Taking the lead in conflict is crucial to ensuring you establish respectful boundaries with those you work with. Because you're a solopreneur, but you're working with plenty of other people, it's a whole new relationship. Another experience I've gone through several times is accepting work through panic. It's not easy leading yourself to your own vision, and when times are tough, that panic can set in very quickly. So you take what you need to take to pay the bills, but that often does more damage in the long run. Choosing to understand those moments and why they occur in the first place builds a stronger resilience which will help you act with clarity and confidence in those moments. And many business owners I know have at least one other person who supports them with that reflection. That's the other weird scenario you face. Up till now, your whole network has been inside a company, or maybe several if you've kept some friends along the way. And some of those people will still be there, but won't necessarily be able to help you with the zillion questions you have about marketing, or understand how you're feeling and support you in the way you need, because they've never been here. Your network almost has to start again, and if you're not already a top-level exec with worldwide connections, seeking people out can be a big challenge. And initially, many of those you encounter will be your competition in some way, so you might wonder if they're scoping you out or trying to beat you for clients. But what you find is a network of people who care about each other's successes, not just their own. They support each other, work with each other, help each other where they can, and invite you into their worlds. It's inspiring to see other people living their own vision, or building something they know is going to serve them and everyone else. This world is a crazy one, in many ways indescribable. It's full of ups and downs, but you learn so much about who you are as a leader. You learn to speak with others in a new way. You lead yourself stronger than you've ever had to before. You grow confident in your influence and what the right messages are for you, and you learn how to push that in the right direction to make this work for you and everyone you serve. Some get all of this within months, some get it within years, but all can most likely say they're a very different person to the one who started this business. So here's why I think solopreneurs are some of the strongest leaders out there, and what leaders everywhere can learn from them, as well as how you can support yourself through this amazing journey with empowerment and your sanity intact. I speak a lot on this podcast about self-leadership, leading yourself first before others. You'll have probably had a lot of time with this too, but leading other people is probably still the majority of your day if you're still in a company. For a solopreneur, it's the other way round, because this is the very foundation of their whole operating system. They lead themselves to be disciplined in their work and show up every day for themselves and those they serve. They find clarity in their own vision and values, goals and objectives and work tasks, so they're productive and fulfill their obligations. They work through their own emotional regulations so they can deal with challenges, champion their business, and remain focused on what they want to achieve. They also lead themselves through ambiguity to get that clarity, experience the rife rejection, which they then work to reframe so they have the motivation to keep going, and take themselves through reinvention on the major and minor things alike. They're constantly learning because there is so much about running your own business you need to understand before you can even start to do the job you created. Your CEO, CFO, COO, Director of HR, Head of Legal, Lead Graphic Designer, Lead Content Writer, Director of Customer Experience, Procurement Lead, and so many other titles. And sometimes you'll spend very little of your day doing the job you created because all the others need to come first. Working out boundaries can be very difficult, especially if you're dealing with clients or other companies that you perceive are bigger than you, more established than you, more powerful than you. Saying no is a hard skill to learn for some, and learning to stand up for your business can be even harder. That's why many of the solopreneurs I know have support from others to help them with their mindset, develop their knowledge and skills, and support their accountability. I too am one of those people. I have a coach, a mentor, an accountability buddy, a coaching supervisor, a virtual assistant, and a network of other business owners who I can call on for support if I need help, and who I'll happily help myself if they need me. But the more difficult thing to manage is your own belief, motivation, and willingness to act on your own vision and purpose. Ultimately, you can have all the support in the world, but you'll still spend most of your day on your own. You've crafted that vision, and with the amount of rejection most solopreneurs have to experience to get to the clients that will say yes, staying anchored can be a struggle. There is no boardroom applause when you're succeeding, no daily external validation of your purpose. That all comes from you. So having that network is valuable, as some of that can be recouped. But mostly it relies on you staying steadfast in your approach and not pivoting every 5 minutes in a new direction in the desperate hope that something will change quickly. Because there's another message out there that can be really damaging when the whole story isn't told. Overnight successes. I know a few business owners who got off the ground quickly because of their contacts or being in the right place at the right time, or genuinely having a bit of luck with something. However, That doesn't make a success. The success is in being able to keep your business going long after those initial opportunities have run out, and they can go away very quickly. This is where the learning curve comes in. Knowing what to do with all those initial opportunities and how you can use them even once taken is what drives your business into longevity. Overnight successes are a myth. They didn't happen overnight. The chances are they took years to get there. I didn't know most of this stuff when I got my first chances. I happened to gain a large contract that was worth a year's salary for 6 months of work within a week of me becoming self-employed. Then I gained 2 other contracts within the next couple of months, which meant I was basically working in those contracts all the time. My social media presence wasn't quite up and running yet. I didn't have a website yet. I didn't even have a business name. But I thought it was in the bag. I was working, right? Then I started to focus on the coaching and mentoring side 4 months later, the main business I wanted to have. I wanted my own programs, clients, and ways of working. But I didn't use a single bit of evidence about the work I'd already done. I didn't showcase the support I'd given, the successes I'd helped others achieve. I almost saw those contractors separate from my new venture, and because of that, I missed a huge opportunity. Work did continue at a good pace through the rest of COVID, but what I hadn't thought about was what happened after the extra funding, the additional opportunities, and everything else put out there to support others during COVID was gone. I did manage to retain some work. All the contracts I had at that very beginning stayed in place. But the work took a decline, and I didn't foresee how much work I still had to do on my business. I've spent a lot of time on this since, and now I have my own clients, my own programs, my own ways of working, and still some work from all those contracts bar one. It's bloody hard work, and your mindset can take a right battering and make you think you constantly need to try new things. But it's worth it when you start seeing your efforts come to fruition, sticking with your plan. And a big part of that I've learned is letting your plans play out and giving it time. So if you're pivoting regularly, hoping that focusing on another new thing for the next couple of weeks will help you be an overnight success, stop yourself. Make a real strategy with a plan to back it up and some optimism in the bank. Then be brave, execute it with your full belief behind it, keep showing up, and be patient. Decision fatigue is totally real. When every single thing in your business relies on you making decisions all day, every day, you can very easily get overwhelmed when faced with the choice of what to have for dinner, what to wear, or even whether to leave the house. Anyone who takes on the adventure of running a business has my utmost respect for the leadership they're about to show. Carrying the weight of all those decisions gets easier over time. You build your strength up, you chuck things out the bag you don't need anymore, and you replace some heavy and taxing items with lighter ones, and add more things that will make for a better adventure along the way. Eventually, you do have a heavier backpack than you did at the start, but you're charging across the hills with greater ease than you had in the beginning. But even then, there may be days you're climbing a 30% incline and the bag is just too damn heavy to get to the top in one day. When you have other things going on in your life, like partners and kids, difficult circumstances to deal with, or big life events coming up, that fatigue can get even worse. So taking care of yourself is important, and setting yourself up to prevent this from happening as much as possible is well worth the effort you put into it. For instance, I have a few days a week where I take my son to nursery before work. I have the same getting ready routine every day, so we do the same things in the same order every single time. It's not just good for me, it's good for him. Knowing what's happening and when almost becomes automated, so he walks into nursery ready to make some big choices on Play-Doh. On those nursery days, I then come home and take 20 minutes for myself, make some tea, settle into the day, and then start work after those 20 minutes are up. The other couple of days I don't have that nursery run, I just take those 20 minutes after getting ready and then start work. Those little setups here and there do help. My day gets off to a good start, and it helps me focus on getting the important stuff done early, so I can do whatever I have the energy for afterwards. So then it's about recognising the symptoms of decision fatigue in yourself when it does happen. For example, mental exhaustion is a common one for me when this happens. When I come out of work and I've got decision fatigue, I have no room to hear anyone else. Anything else that they tell me is quite literally going in one ear and out the other. Some describe this as their brains running on empty, but mine feels like it's totally full. I have no room for any new information, so it keeps coming, and I get irritated, and I start being short with people, or I zone out for a short period just to try and recover some space. That can then lead to indecision in dinner choices or avoidance of others for a little while, which is not the best thing when you have a small person desperately trying to get your attention. Those symptoms can then spill into the next day. I won't go to the things that require thought. I'll go for the things that I'm so practiced in I could do them with my eyes closed, which means I am getting work done. But then that doesn't usually get me very far, as the things that require thought are usually the more important things for my business and my energy is in the morning. Other people lose their motivation and stop putting effort in. Some procrastinate, very productively I might add. But obviously this means the decisions they need to make are being avoided or delayed, which can lead to pressure trying to get everything done at the last minute. And some experience brain fog, which means sentences come out half-finished, thoughts trail into the abyss, and where you put your keys has totally disappeared from your memory. I've been here too. Some get so mentally exhausted they feel physically exhausted as well, and will have a nap or crash out on the sofa in front of a good binge series. Whatever the symptoms are for you, it's important you know how you show up when decision fatigue happens, so you can deal with it quickly and figure out what went wrong. A great place to start with this is thinking about what happened leading up to the fatigue itself. Did you have quite a heavy day today or yesterday in work? Did you make a lot of big choices or just lots and lots of choices that impact your business? Did you have to put a considerable amount of effort into a single task that required you to make multiple decisions on a wide range of factors and you just don't feel like you got anywhere? Did something happen outside of work that drained your energy before you even got to work? Are you experiencing a difficult time right now? Did you skip lunch? All these questions help you find out what led to the decision fatigue, so you can put strategies, systems, and decision frameworks in place to prevent it from happening again. Again, this is where your network can come in useful. Talking through things can help you see elements you didn't see before. So utilize those people when you need them. These things don't just happen, there's always a cause. So do the work to find out what that cause was, so you can make the changes you need for the better. One of the best things about being a solopreneur is you get to build a culture of your own. This is where your leadership really shines through to other people. The way you work with others, the relationships you build around you, and the way you wrap people up in your world are all signs of who you are as a leader. This is one of the strongest reasons people will decide to work with you. It's not enough to get the job done or even done well. It's the experience the client has with you that matters most. Even those who aren't clients will be listening into your culture, watching to see whether you're a person worth listening to on that subject, even if they'll never work with you. The starting point is core values. Finding out what these are can be tricky, but once you've got them and you understand why they mean so much to you and how you've shown them throughout your life, you can start to showcase them for others to see. You're modelling the behaviour of your organisation because, again, you are it. It's the start of a beautiful journey of leading through persuasion, not position. I call it beautiful because it's freeing and empowering to make your own culture come to life through your values. It's the foundation upon which you'll build trust with your clients, collaborators and audiences, and they'll want to hear more from you over time. You have influence, which can reach people you didn't even know were watching. When you learn to transform your messaging to reflect that culture and value set, you start to tell stories that engage other people because they can relate. And the more consistently you do this, the more people will buy into the idea of you. Because they don't buy a product or service, they buy you. But you also shape culture through your programs, your content, the impact you have on your clients. You're building a legacy through thought leadership, transformation, and generosity. There are plenty of things I share that I could easily charge for. But I went to the Institute of Leadership's members event recently, and the CEO, John Mark Williams, put it very simply. Leadership is what we share. I've been involved in volunteer projects, given away endless resources for free, done this podcast and shared so much of my own and others' wisdom on here, and share regular tips, stories and thoughts in my socials content. Why? Because, yes, it gives people an insight into my credibility, what it's like to work with me, and what sort of things I can help them with. But it also gives leaders like you the relief of knowing you're not on your own. Little tools and strategies that can make your life instantly easier. Small pieces of advice that just might transform your effectiveness as a leader and make you feel inspired and maybe just do things a little bit differently than you were before. Solopreneurs have the influence to shape cultures in the businesses they work with, the people they collaborate with, and others in their network too. There are a few people in this world I look up to. Some of them have been right here on this podcast, and they've contributed to my culture. Why would I not have the same chance with someone else? Every decision, every message, every moment, it's leadership in motion. Last week I spoke about the invisible work of leadership. Here's some of the things this can look like for solopreneurs. Investing in yourself isn't just about spending money. It's dedicating real time and energy into learning and growing, both as a person and professionally in your areas of expertise. I can't just learn and grow in coaching. I need to learn and grow in leadership, in business management, in training and assessment practice, and any other elements that my business needs focus on. I said I went to an event recently. Business networking is really not my thing. Usually when I go, you can feel the pressure in the room because you know everyone is there to sell, even if they won't say it. But this was a brilliant event. It was not about selling to each other. It was about meeting, networking, building contacts. And that allowed me to talk to a lot of people about a range of subjects without pitching once. And I made some incredible contacts as a result, which is another way of investing in yourself. Part of that time and energy you put in is towards discovering how you want to do things. The quiet work you do, seeking feedback from others, helps you build your culture from the ground up. It provides deeply valuable insights into your behaviour and appearances to others, as well as the impact of your work with them, which you'll use to make stronger choices and plans for future-proofing your business, as well as learn and grow from the experience as an individual. Of course, feedback can then be used to showcase your work. I'm definitely somebody who struggled to even ask for this in the beginning, let alone share it with others. But now I know what I need from other people, and I don't just ask my clients for feedback. Feedback not only helps you build culture, it lets you see if the culture you've built is having the impact you wanted it to make. Celebrating wins, milestones, and successes, and anything else worth a party might feel a bit redundant since it's, me, myself, and I when you run a business. But that effort to reward yourself, to throw your hands up in the air and scream for joy, or to just tell a friend you did something awesome even though they don't understand why it's such a big deal, will keep that fire lit underneath you to keep you going. Recognizing those successes also helps you in those moments of doubt or imposter syndrome. They might not seem like they have much impact on your influence with others, but if you're inspired and fired up, they'll feel it. Do this, and those who follow you will want to follow your example. You might celebrate quietly, but stories do come out eventually. Shaping culture might not seem like an obvious trait of solopreneurs, but it is there all the time. They may be a team of one, but leadership isn't a job title, nor do you need a team to do it. Despite my hint at the beginning of this episode, you might have been listening to this podcast so far and thinking, this isn't relevant to me, it's all about business owners. Well, here's what I see leaders everywhere can learn from business owners. Strong self-leadership is more prevalent in solopreneurship than anywhere else. These leaders have no choice but to rely on themselves, and even with support, they must build a deep resilience, high-level motivation, and strong intuition to know where to go and what to do along the way. Time and effort into themselves is an absolute must. There's no getting around that, because despite already being an expert in what they do, there's too much else they won't succeed in without that self-investment. And yes, they have to do these things, but they're doing them because they want to. They have a deep drive to build something impactful. Leaders everywhere could take a note out of solopreneurs' books when it comes to how to really self-lead. In many ways, this makes business owners more capable of dealing with challenges like decision fatigue or conflict management, because they've put so much into understanding themselves. Are there still business owners out there who struggle with this? Absolutely. But I think the numbers who've learned what to do about it are more important and probably greater than those who haven't, because these are the people that will show everybody else how to get there. And decision fatigue is not isolated to business owners, it's everywhere. And you've probably experienced it at one time or another. Solopreneurs build fantastic cultures, not because they hold a position, but because they hold influence. This principal feature of leadership allows them to build those trusted and supportive relationships that I and others like me are always banging on about. We bang on about it because it matters. But at no point do solopreneurs rely on their job title to hold sway over others. They cultivate meaningful relationships in a variety of ways that goes way beyond just clients. They build a two-way network of support and engagement with powerful resources they're willing to give to others without any expectations. But here's another thing that's absolutely great about solopreneurs. They know they're valuable. To those they work with, they expect chargeable time, not pushed boundaries to see how much others can get for free. They put the work in to make sure client time with them is as effective and productive as it can be. With their collaborations, they work hard to ensure equity, fairness, and mutual respect, so the result is a high standard with good working relationships, just like a team. And when they connect with others who will neither be collaborators nor clients, they listen, they share, they influence in a whole new way. Being a solopreneur has been life-changing in so many ways, but it has come as a shock how much more I know about leadership from this experience. I also know there are plenty of things solopreneurs who've never been in other businesses could learn from those who have, but the truth is they probably already are. They are by no means perfect, but they have developed a skill set of leadership that has a very unique impact on themselves and those that follow them. You don't need a team to be a leader. You just need to want to lead. And solopreneurs are leading. Until next time, everyone.